YouTube. Jerry Kirkpatrick here, and it's been quite some time, a little over a month, since I have put out a video, or for that matter even spent any time out in the shop, and that has been primarily because of the weather. We've had a few sparse days that have been either cold or snowing or raining like heck, and I just haven't been out to the shop. Every now and then we'd have a day that it wasn't raining or snowing, so I would spend that day getting in wood and cutting up kindling and that kind of thing, just maintaining what needed to be maintained around here. So I've put together a short, like a slideshow, to show you what it's been like around here for the last month. And when I get to the 14th of March, take a look at how quickly the water rises around Bechtel Creek, and you'll see the date, the temperature, and watch how the water rises. As luck would have it, shortly after I shot the intro in my office that you saw at the start there, April came in, was feeling kind of wonky, and mentioned that she had just tested positive for COVID. Therefore, about 3 days later, I tested positive for COVID. We both got our Paxlovid pills to be taken for 5 days. So that took about a little over 2 weeks for both of us to test negative again. And I was always about 3 days behind her. I still didn't feel that well, so 2 or 3 days after I tested negative, I tested positive again. And with talking to the the nurse at the VA down in San Francisco and Ukiah, they said there was nothing more could be done if you get it the second time. And it really wasn't that bad. I just felt listless, didn't feel like doing anything at all for another probably 3 weeks. And just last week I tested negative again, and I'm just tired all the time, and I constantly have a metallic taste in my mouth just all the time, and I can't taste food or smell anything, even though it has a pretty good smell. I can't smell the roses. I've tried that. I had just 2 days ago a tuna sandwich. I couldn't smell or taste that. So apparently, feeling tired all the time and not being able to smell or taste and having a metallic taste is my life now. So I'm just going to have to do what I need to do to work or not around it, but work with it. One of the persons that got this about the same time April and I did, one of them just last week, or just at the end of this last week, she's feeling fine now. Another one, Jerry Jordan, he is about the same as I. He still can't taste or smell or any of that. But a good friend of mine, Aaron Green, who demonstrated at my event not long ago, he came over, spent a couple hours just last Sunday, and as we were talking, we were looking at his dual quad setup, trying to get both carburetors balanced. So anyhow, in our conversations, he said that he today has the same symptoms I have, and he got it for the second time over a year ago. So that doesn't look very promising. And the VA, when I talked to them, the advice nurse there said that it can last anywhere from a week to years, or could even be the way it is for the rest of your life. So with the weather earlier and having COVID twice just after the weather started getting good, that's why I haven't put a video out in a couple of months. But no matter how I feel now, I'm just going to get to it and see how it turns out. I'm just going to do what I can do, and hopefully be able to get a video out every week like I tried to for the last 5 years.
Tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away.
As some will remember, I sold both my retail and wholesale portion of my blacksmithing business, and it didn't become apparent to me until this last summer that I no longer have to make 500 to 1,000 pieces to keep up with my orders. So this last winter, when it got very cold, I found myself not wanting to come out to the shop, spend a lot of money on heating the shop just to spend an hour or two, maybe working on a small project or doing a video. So the only way I have of heating my shop is with my forge. And when I was producing product, I would have to come out, light the forge, produce my product, make a video, and everything just went smooth like that for many years. The way I would heat is I would light my forge. When it was down in the 20s and 30s, I have a thermometer right here on my toolbox that tells me what the temperature is right around my core, right around where I'm working. Way up in the top, I have another thermometer that is showing me what the temperature is up in the rafters. And I used to have to bring that up to 80 degrees before I would start feeling it really down here. Once that thermometer got to be 80 degrees, I could turn my forge off, turn the fan on up there, and that would circulate the heat all morning. Once that was up to 80, turn the fan on, turn the forge off. I could work until lunchtime easily. Go into lunch. When I came back, light the forge, the thermometer would get to 80, turn the fan on, turn the forge off, and I was good until dinner time. Depending on the amount of work that I had to do, obviously, and the temperature, it was usually dark by then. I didn't feel much like coming out, but if I had something to do, I could do that cycle one more time. Now that I no longer have to come out to build product, about the only reason I have now is to do YouTube videos and, maintain, during the winter, I'm talking about the winter here, maintain the property, which usually I can come in, get a tool, go back out, and I'm done. So in that, what I have decided to do is put a ceiling in the shop. The ceiling is so tall, this being a barn, there is just a hell of a lot of volume that is wasted with the heat. So one of the next things that I'm going to do, I'm going to finish the disc grinder, the shield over the top, and get the switch, the forward and reverse switch, working on the disc grinder. Once I finish those two projects, I'm going to be putting a ceiling in the shop, about 10 feet high. Depending on all the plumbing and everything, it looks like it'll be between 9.5 and 10 feet high. I'm going to use 2-inch foam that will be a little bit cheaper, but it will have nice isolating qualities. Steve Summers did the same thing, and It's been a couple of years now, and he says it's working out fine. I'm going to get all new white fluorescent light bulbs. I have some of them are white, some of them are yellow. So I'll smooth all those out after I get the ceiling dropped. And so there are many projects that I have scheduled for the summer, working on the Jeep. I want to get a lot of that done, and I want to get my plating, my nickel plating system all set up. As I build more things for the Jeep, more things are going to want to be nickel plated. So on down the line a little bit, be prepared for setting up and using the nickel plating. So last summer, I went to my local Napa store here in Willits, and as I was looking around for the product that I was wanting to purchase, I noticed down on the bottom shelf a dusty old box that had this vacuum in it, and I wasn't really looking to buy a vacuum, but I saw an old box that had to have been there for quite some time. So when I went to the counter to purchase the product that I actually wanted, it just so happened at the same time the owner of the Napa store came by, and I called her over and said, I'd like to get that vacuum over there that's all dusty and everything, and I will give you an amount. let's just say an amount. And she kind of looked at me like I was crazy. Typical. And so I said, well, how long has that been sitting on that shelf over there down where nobody can see it? And she asked the fellow that was working the register to look it up, and she said, well, it's been down there for 2 years now. And I said, well, if I give you the amount of money that I'm offering right now, you can take that money and put it into your point of purchase items and make your profit in no more than 2 days. You could imagine the glare that I got at that point, which did my heart good. And she told the fellow at the register to go ahead and write it up. So, although this was just purchased on a whim, if you have the opportunity or a little spare money, get one of these things. They are great. I just use the heck out of them, especially on my layout table if I'm doing any filing or anywhere where I'm making a small mess. I just go get this, vacuum it up, it's done. The other thing, if I'm not using cutting oil, I can use it on my mill, my lathe, and my drill press. It's much quicker than picking stuff up or sweeping stuff up. It doesn't even have a bag. It just dumps all the stuff down in the bottom here, and you take 2 latches off, empty it out in the trash, put it back together, and you're done. I have put a filter around the original filter that it comes with, just with a rubber band, so I can take that off, shake it off, and put it right back together. It will use the wands if you have a smaller vacuum. They fit. It has a very long hose, stretches pretty good. Where is it? There it is. It has one of these, I don't know what you call them, but for getting around the base of the vise, this thing is great. And it also has this thing here for, what's that, maybe 4.5 inches. So it's real handy. And every time I clean the wood stove in the house, I bring in the bucket and this vacuum. I do all of the removal of the ashes, sweep it out, and then just with this, zap, 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 and all of the ashes are cleaned up. So if you have a chance, if you have the want, get yourself one of these things. You'll be amazed at how often you use it. And it also, not only is it battery powered, you can use it 110 also. So there you go. And last Thursday, I picked up a tool that is going to change the way I work around the property here, especially cleaning up when we have branches and sometimes trees fall. It's a 17-inch DeWalt, as you can see, chainsaw, and it came with a 12 amp hour battery. It was a surprise, and that's the biggest battery that I have in my arsenal. And I had to wait for this to come. I had to order it and then wait. And I didn't know it had the 12 amp hour batteries in it. So while I was there, I picked up a 2-box of the 9 amp hour flex. So I've got lots of batteries and lots of chargers. So if any of you, I know there's several of you fellas out there that watch my channel that let's say live out in the not in the woods necessarily, but where a chainsaw may become useful. So I don't know, maybe at the end of the year or whenever you want, give me a call or leave a message in the in one of my YouTube videos and see how this thing is working. I'm going to put it to work almost immediately. So if you've been thinking about an electric chainsaw, I've done a lot of research, and I found that the 17-inch is like at a breaking point from a I hate to say toy, but let's say a smaller piece of property that you're just doing some trimming. From what I've seen on YouTube, this thing will do some work. So let me know if you want to know how this thing is working. So that's it for now. Hopefully I'll be getting a video out very shortly after this one. I'm starting to feel just a little bit better. Still no taste and all of that stuff, but I can see that I can do more just after this short week. So please give me a thumbs up. Thank you for subscribing. If you wish to do so, ring the bell. It would be appreciated if you could buy me a coffee, or I now have a link for a PayPal. I know I've heard from some that for some reason or another they can't buy me a coffee. So with the PayPal link in the description below, that will hopefully allow you to get me some money. I guess that's the way you got to put it, so I can make these changes here, drop the ceiling. That's going to cost quite a bit, and continue to make videos. So you can buy me a coffee, go right straight to PayPal, and becoming a patron. That would help quite a bit. So thank you very much for watching. See you later.